Going hot.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are discussing Deadpool 2. We are welcoming former Marvel Deadpool writer Buddy Scalera on to talk about the character. And oh yeah, we're going to talk about ComicsGate. It was nice knowing you guys. We are Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. It's a great internet radio station. We want to thank our previous host, Elizabeth Tripp, Nourish the Soul. Check her out on talkradio.nyc. If you're listening to us via podcast, if you are getting us on a replay or a video replay, still check out the show and still check out the station. But yeah, we talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture. I'm your host, Michael Dolce, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the Lord of the Radio himself, Mr. Hassan Godwin.
I ate too fast.
You ate. You did not nourish the soul.
No.
You did not nourish the soul.
I totally nourished the body, but skip the soul altogether.
Had you, then you'd be in better shape.
Yeah, I'd be in way better shape. But if I was in better shape, I'd be in better shape.
This is very true. This is very true.
So.
Check us out on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Secrets of the Sire. Check us out on Facebook. We stream this live every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check us out on iHeartRadio. Leave a review on iTunes. We are the #1 category for a few hours on Friday night, which is pretty cool. We released the podcast.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we were TV
somebodies.
and film. We're doing something right. Well, we were somebodies. We were somebodies.
Oh, we are.
Until this episode, and then
we're back to being nobody.
Now we're gonna venture into territory that will alienate us from both sides of the aisle, and have a weaponized strength against us. What are we talking about?
How come I never find out about these things when they're happening? I always find out about them after the fact, and then when it's all over, so I can't capitalize.
I know.
On it.
Well, yeah, I know. Capitalization. That's
the society we live in, man. We live in a capitalist society.
Yes. No, I don't disagree with that.
I want to capitalize on something.
I don't disagree with that.
I want to be a capitalist and capitalize.
No, I know, but we're going to fail miserably at it because that's just what we do. It's just what we do, my man. I can't help it.
Very pessimistic.
I can't help it. Can't help it. So
get on with your spiel.
We got a big movie coming out.
Really?
We got Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about it.
Another big movie. This has been a big movie year. No,
it's been a big movie chunk, right? I mean, April had Infinity War. May has back-to-back movies. We have Deadpool 2, and then we have Solo.
But then before that, we had Black Panther.
In February. February. Okay, good. Yeah.
Before that, we had The Last Jedi.
No, but not in 2018.
Well, it
was at the end.
Bled into
it was
2018.
Yeah. But after this, we have The Incredibles. We have Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah, I'm not even interested.
We got nothing.
I hope we don't review those because I have no interest in seeing those.
We'll probably talk about Ant-Man and Wasp.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Darn it.
I know. Well, you don't have to actually see the movie to talk about it.
Oh. I could just make it up.
We're talking about Deadpool 2 tonight, and the movie hasn't even come out.
But that's not our fault. The movie's not out. We do this all the time.
Right.
This is just the way the schedule is working, right?
But it's like bumpered, and then all of a sudden it's not bumpered.
Yeah, and then we just have to find other things to talk about.
Which is funny you mentioned that.
I know.
Because
isn't that odd and ironic how I did that?
Well, it was almost as if you planned that.
Yeah, almost. Almost.
Yeah, no. So there was a little. If you were on Twitter over the weekend. If you were on Facebook, there was a whole mess. So, all right. So to catch people up, what is ComicsGate?
You're gonna sum it up.
I'm gonna sum it up for folks. And if you know what GamerGate is,
I'm about to be impressed.
If you know what GamerGate is, it's
GamerGate.
basically the same thing. My first question has always been the obvious: why is everything a gate? I know it's based off of Watergate, but
I tell you, it's satire. It's just satirical.
No, but at this point, it's just played out.
Because he used
they need to rebrand.
They use the word gate. They know it's a scandal right away. They know it's an issue right away.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it's a scandal in this case. I feel like this is
But it's an issue. It's like
right. I think ComicsGate is an issue.
It's a controversy.
GamersGate is a controversy.
Controversy.
It's not, it wasn't controversial what Richard Nixon did in Watergate. It was illegal.
Yeah, I know, and I get you, and I know you know where it comes from. But I think Watergate became so synonymous. The Watergate Hotel became so synonymous with that scandal, and that lost us a president.
Yes.
That caused the president to resign.
Right.
That it just became a pop phrase in and of itself.
Beyond the grave. Do you think he's proud of that now? He's like sitting there going, "I'm glad I coined I coined the gate phrase for everything." No.
Nah.
No.
Not if you
can traverse time and space.
any part of your personality
Yeah.
when you die, then and you go like Nixon's. Nah, he's not happy about it. He's still salty.
Yeah, he's pretty not good about
pretty
that.
pissed about it.
I love the fact that we just have the Deadpool thumbs up the whole time.
Yeah. Which works.
We're not moving that. That is the image. That is the image.
I've heard good things about.
So here's the funny thing, right? I've read nothing but good reviews.
Right.
And then I saw on Twitter today, critics hate this movie, fans love it, and I'm like,
well,
I've read like 4 or 5 different reviews now, and they're all like, this is just as good, if not better than the.
Yeah, isn't that how it's supposed to be, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
No. I'm saying, but I'm just.
I mean, do we ever listen to critics?
No, but critics.
We don't even listen
critics
to
I have read. They include Rolling Stone, like New York Daily News. I mean, like New York Times, like reputable.
Didn't they hate the first one? Didn't they dislike?
No, everyone liked the first one. Everyone liked the first one, except me. I liked it. But I bashed it before it came out.
But I enjoyed the first one.
I predicted utter doom, which is why it did so well.
And so, do you have a prediction about this one? Come on, ruin it.
I think it's going to make a lot of money.
Oh, and now it won't.
If I have this power,
sorry, Fabian,
then I will declare right now that my Sire Kickstarter will not be funded 5 times over.
Ooh.
There's a Sire Kickstarter going on right now. You can collect the second volume trade paperback. Collects issue 7 to 10, gives you 15 pages of new material, a new cover, plus a look at Sire number 11, which is coming out in the fall. Go to mikebooks.com/Kickstarter, and it'll take you right to my page. Shameless plug.
Not exactly artful, but...
What do you mean not artful? That was really that was brilliant.
Well.
I was going to say effing brilliant, but then we'd go bing, and everything goes. So ComicsGate. What is ComicsGate? It's the same as Gamersgate. There is apparently a repeated harassment of women in the industry, personal attacks on women creators, based on the foundation that diverse creators are bad for the industry.
Right.
Did that sum it up pretty good?
That is summed up very well, although that is a little one-sided. There are incidents of precedent where the woman in question, we won't name any names and stuff, but the woman in question
Betty.
might have, sure, perfect. Betty and Veronica, where both of them may have instigated or provoked some of the controversy. What happens a lot of times is that people make comments on the status quo, right?
Right.
You go, the status quo. Status quo isn't really great for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the status quo. Here's a lot of stuff that the status quo does. It's not good.
Yeah.
And then and they make their comments. And then the status quo goes, well, you suck too. And here's a whole bunch of reasons why you suck.
Well, it's Trevor's axiom. Trevor's axiom. Well, that's the funny part, right?
Define Trevor's axiom.
Well, if people are fans of the show, then they know what Trevor's axiom is. It's actually taken from South Park.
Right.
And it is not a troll's job is not to instigate the person he's commenting on. It's to instigate 2 people to come to their defense.
Yes, to your
which
defense.
will then instigate 3 people to come to the first person's defense, which will grow exponentially.
Which is the
like
life
a fusion bomb.
Any Facebook commenter is just to get help.
And that's kind of the angle.
Just to instigate.
That's kind of the angle we want to take with all this right now. So, ad nauseum, we actually were going back and forth over the weekend about this. There are so many layers to this.
And we're a
1-hour show. Well, no, but that's the angle I'm going to take. We're a 1-hour show. We don't have time to get into all this. We don't want to get political as much as we possibly can. What we've come to the conclusion with all this stuff is that social media is a dinner table. And what are the 2 things you should not discuss at a dinner table?
You shouldn't talk about the wine. You shouldn't talk about the ham. Maybe you shouldn't talk about religion.
Stop talking about politics and religion.
Politics.
Right? Just stop. If everybody stopped doing this. Now, this is where we actually had our argument, but this is the conclusion we came to it.
Right.
We're arguing over Facebook Messenger over the weekend. And we're not, it's not a heinous argument. It's not an angry argument. It wasn't venomous. It wasn't vile. It was, I have a point of view that I think weaponized social media is a bad thing. You see it as a way to combat trolls. Is that a fair?
Not necessarily, because I do agree with you that the social media is weaponized and it is a negative. I do believe it's an absolute.
Okay,
negative.
so the bully bullying the bully is a negative. That's the way I look at it.
Yes, for the most part. I think that I think it's the only tool that you have at this point, but I do think that tool can be turned against you.
Sure.
You know, whatever weapon you use can be used against you.
It's a weapon, one way or the other.
Exactly.
And to give a little more context to the viewers who may or may not know about the story, there is a repeated accused harasser who has gone on social media and apparently has accused many, has harassed many women creators, has very much called out.
Yeah.
And has
created a toxic environment.
He's created a toxic environment that he has also profited from.
Right.
Because his Indiegogo campaign, which was trying to raise $5,000 for an apolitical comic, I do want to make sure that the art is separate from the artist.
Right.
The comic has nothing to do with his ideals.
Yeah.
The comic is a straightforward military storyline. Raised $200,000.
For
$5,000.
For a bid of $5,000. So.
And in doing so, he has a YouTube channel, and he's kind of rallied this,
Which is unlike, why is this guy upset? Why is anybody upset?
He's upset because then there was a publisher, Antarctic Press, that said, well, we'll publish your book, because they want a piece of that. It's great. And then immediately was boycotted by retailers who refused to order. And we can get into the whole... is this the equivalent of the you won't bake a cake for a gay couple thing? We won't. We could. We started getting into that. Retailers actually started boycotting this particular book before it was even printed, before it ever happened. And then 7 days later, because of this boycott and because of the rallying on social media, again, in this particular case, I think it's a weaponizing of social media to take this down, right?
I completely agree with you.
The book is now not being published by Antarctic Press.
Yeah.
And they've decided to distance themselves from it.
Someone will publish it, though. Someone's going to.
I don't think they will. I think our conclusion based on everything we were kind of reading back and forth, and you had come to the conclusion first. I said, well, let me figure it out. And we both kind of came to it as, the guy is reaping what he sows. I mean, if all the allegations are 100% true, even if they're 50% true, he's brought negative publicity to his work.
Stuff.
I hate that his art is art. The artist and the art are not separated, because I personally don't. Yeah. I don't like that stance.
He should have done that. He should have separated himself.
But ultimately, it's
nobody
bad.
has to know it's you.
No.
On YouTube, especially,
right.
They don't have to know exactly who you are. You could be anybody you want without your real name being out there.
Yeah.
So you're using that to capitalize.
Yeah.
And to build your brand. So.
But the conversation we had ended up in twofold. Though. One, stop talking about this stuff on the internet. My stance on trolls and bullies. We had one. We had a troll. We miss you, Fika Leone. We miss you.
We do. We honestly do.
I was actually. There's no question. The very first time we had a troll come on, we were still on Periscope, and he said, "I hope you choke on that microphone and the place burns down." Unprovoked, by the way, because it was
pretty mild.
I mean, it was like. It was violent. I'm like, oh my, and it shook me for a good 3 seconds. It legitimately, I was like, and it made me feel awkward and uncomfortable. But we kind of fought back in a non-violent way. And when we come back, I'll tell you exactly how. And we'll talk Deadpool too.
Tamara, can you pull that banner a little bit towards the wall? Just a little bit. Because the light's coming through, so it's shining on Hassan's head.
You've got the heavenly glow.
But I
hold on 1 second. It's a little delayed, so I think that should do it.
Hello. Yeah, no matter what, this is not blinking.
Not blinking? If it ain't blinking, it ain't sinking. Yeah, pull it over a little bit more.
Hello. Yeah, no. I mean, it's picking up. Whatever,
Okay, that should do it.
It's just not picking this up.
So basically, you're just going to talk about ComicsGate all the show, and then last minute you'll talk about Deadpool for 5 minutes.
We don't really have anything to talk about until next week.
I know.
Hello.
What time is Buddy calling in?
8:25.
Okay. So you saw it. It's the highest grossing superhero movie now.
Oh.
Like 1.6 billion.
Should not have that second beer.
Going hot.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the fun stuff you love talking. Next segment, we've got Buddy Scalera joining us, Deadpool writer. And we will talk more Deadpool when he gets on, which I'm pretty excited about. We'll also talk about his comic book school and all the cool stuff that he's doing. But we're talking about ComicsGate, and again, just a quick refresher, it's a harassment against diverse and female creators in the industry. It's ripped off of the GamersGate, which also
Which
kind
was
of
pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, essentially kind of the same thing. So, all that good stuff. Very exciting, right? We had a troll though, and I want to actually quote a tweet from Greg Pak. Greg Pak is a writer. He wrote World War Hulk, which is what they based half of Thor Ragnarok on.
Right.
And he said every time you engage with a troll, you make them money. You give them some sort of satisfaction. I'm ad-libbing his tweet, but it's 100% true because we had the same experience though. We had a troll who was trolling our show, and every time on Periscope, when we were on Periscope, whatever happened to Periscope? Is that gone?
Still around.
Is it around? One of these days, maybe we'll jump back on just to say hi.
Triumphant return.
Every time we did, it at first it was like, well, how dare this guy do this? Why is he doing this? And it fills you with anger and it fills you with a reaction. But that's what he wanted. And we kind of flipped it on him a little bit and we said, all right. We started just kind of including him in the show, and it became a kind of a running joke then, and eventually got to a point where he basically conceded. He's like, I have no life. He's like, I missed you guys, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a reaction, and they're looking, and they
looking
feed
for camaraderie,
off.
but they don't know how to engage on a normal social level.
So I mean, I guess
it comes off like hostility.
We're a call-in show, 877-480-4120, unless you're listening to us on the podcast. Call up if you got an opinion on ComicsGate. We're trying, and I guess this is the larger issue, and this is the one issue that I'm very concerned about, right? We're afraid to go into it on this. And I'm not going to lie. Maybe you're not. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to say something that someone is going to misinterpret and or copy and paste and or click. Now, mind you, we're not famous enough, so that's good. I mean, we basically could do this. But what if we get to the point? We are middling. But what if we're above middling? What if we're to a point where...
You know what? I think you can't say anything unless you believe it, right? I think if you believe it, you got to be able to stand by it.
But the internet doesn't give you a culture to do that.
It doesn't.
I mean, the internet is exactly like the way these social media platforms are designed by their very nature is to prevent that from happening.
But how everybody's been wrongheaded about all of this stuff in the first place? If you go to Italy, you're not going to be exulting in Americanisms in Italy. You're going to try your best to speak Italian. You're going to try your best to follow the customs. The internet has its own custom. The internet has its own language.
Sure.
People keep going onto the internet because everybody's mostly communicating as pertains to our surroundings. Everyone's mostly communicating in English,
right? And
we should all be speaking the same language. And I'm talking to a guy who lives right next door to me, but now on Facebook, we're speaking in the Facebook language. Right. So we have to. There's a level of respect a lot of people don't have for the culture, for the language. It's like Facebook or the social media is like another country, and if you go to that country, you have to be willing to kind of learn the customs of that country.
Sure.
Just for your own.
But if you go to Italy, customs have been around for hundreds of years. The internet's a relatively new complex.
You already know the internet culture though, because there's certain things you can't say. Right? Now the thing is, you're like, well, I'm an American and I'm here in America and I should be able to say whatever I want anywhere I want.
Whatever you want.
Right? No, you're not in America. you're on the internet. You're on social media.
You are on social media.
All right, so there's a completely
social
different...
media is not a communication platform.
No, that's why a lot of these morons didn't realize that Twitter was a public statement.
Right.
So, you're making all kinds of comments about Africans and AIDS and all this other stuff, and thinking it's funny, and by the time your plane lands, you're fired, right? Right? But because you didn't realize, well, you just made a public statement.
It is a giant PR machine.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is.
And the person I'm talking about, whose name I won't mention because we won't rehash that,
yeah.
that person was a PR person.
Right.
So there's really no reason that they should have fallen into that trap.
Right.
This is the issue. You don't realize you're in a different place. You're on a different planet. Act accordingly. Act like the natives.
But here's my only question, right? When you weaponize,
just post a cat video and you'll be all right.
When you weaponize social media, right? You rise people up to monetarily damage somebody else, right? Which is what is going on,
right.
Whether justified or not. And we're not going to get
right.
into the justification of it because again, we've got Buddy Scalera coming on next. We do want to get into some Deadpool too. We got a bunch of stuff to get into. The other topic will take forever. It'll probably get us better ratings, but we're poor businessmen. When you have something like that, right, where you are rising up to monetarily damage somebody else, right. You are then taking the internet and bringing it into the real world.
Right.
When you're taking so now you're crossing boundaries. You're Superman 3ing this right now. You are the robot lady walking across, terrifying me when I'm a 7-year-old.
Not necessarily, because you use the internet as a monetary base a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
People use the internet more for money than anything else. They
sure.
They don't write letters anymore. They don't necessarily shop in stores anymore. They don't
right.
go places to. So I mean,
but that's a task, not a communication, right?
But I mean it's a primary source of commerce for a lot of people. It's
right.
primary. So if your job is in Italy and you go to Italy pretending to be a boorish American, mm-hmm. and exulting in all of the tropes and whatever idiosyncrasies that we have,
yeah,
you might get kicked out of Italy, and thus your livelihood is taken away from you. So it is.
Well, I mean, that woman's who we talked about as a PR person got fired, right?
Yes.
I mean, again, I can't defend it as as her being a PR person to not know it.
Right? If your brand is damaged,
right?
You work for something. Your
right. brand
is damaged. These people are like, we're going to take a hit for being associated with you.
Right.
So we have to disassociate from you because.
So then, what about the Mark Wades of the world then? Because I mean, you actually pointed out a very, very poorly written article. You knew you were.
Yes, I knew it was poorly.
You knew that came out as if I was insulting your choice of article.
But it's not.
You picked the article. Well, they don't know that. I'm trying to give them.
No,
context.
I know.
You
but
sent me this
letting
article.
Them also know that I know.
Yeah, you sent me this article to show how poorly supported. The
counter argument.
The counter argument is in this particular one case.
Also, I sent you one of the reasons I sent you the article is because we were just discussing it.
Yeah, right.
And so one of your questions was, do we have proof of all the stuff that was been going on and whatever? So I couldn't send you proof,
right.
But I could send you but other people are talking about it. So
sure.
It's actually hey, these people are talking about the same stuff that we were talking
right.
about.
Right. But wouldn't you agree the same argument though? Some of the things that Mark Wade has tweeted. Doesn't seem to get any trouble.
Here's the thing. Mark Wade seems at the moment to be on the side of righteousness. He's
right.
still speaking the internet language.
Right.
He's defending the internet language.
Right.
Other people are fighting against the internet language.
Right.
Therefore, the internet has turned against them.
Right.
So, it is like I said, again, he's in Italy. Mark Wade's speaking Italian with all of his Italian friends.
Yeah.
And they're talking about you. And you're trying to Americanize the whole situation, and you don't realize that the tide is against you.
Well, then I want to bring up something else too, right? And this is something that I sent to you as well too, where the flaws in a weaponized internet, right? You feel you're on the side. Like Mark Wade feels, not you, but Mark Wade feels he's on the side of righteousness when he lashes out and calls Antarctic Press. The reason we're calling Mark Wade out is he actually called the publisher
right.
and tried to tell him. To let them know the character of the person that they might be doing business
right.
with,
right.
Which, again, we have no idea. We're not a fly in the room. We have no idea if there's curse words exchanged. We have no idea if there was threats. Happened. We have no idea what was done. Right.
We honestly don't even know if Mark Wade's behavior was justified.
Right. But it is a form of trying to hit somebody where it hurts in order to stop them from being a jerk online. Right.
Right.
It's a weaponized internet. Right. In this case, again, we kind of agree. Guy's kind of reaping what he sows here. It's I don't have an actual problem with what's
happening.
happening.
He's got $200,000 in his pocket, and he's probably.
Well, apparently, some guy also went digging through, and I think this is also again weaponized internet, which I don't agree with, which was pointed out in the article you sent, where somebody else then started digging up his child support papers. Did you read that? Yeah, the guy who's Richard Meyer. Was actually had his personal records published on the internet.
Publishing your address,
right?
Like that.
Which again, it's spilling from the internet into the real world.
But the problem is people are outraged. The internet is a toxic thing.
Yes,
it is a terrible kind of thing. It's got all these wonderful properties. It should be utilized by an enlightened people.
Yeah,
it would be utilized correctly.
Yeah,
we are not an idealistic, enlightened people. We are going to use it for as dark and as dismal whatever purposes we have, and we could pretty much be counted on to do that.
Well, and that's this is a great point. Here's an article that I just read recently in New York Daily News that kind of like supports my fear of where this can go. And again, not in this particular case, but just in general. Rita Ora responds after facing backlash for harmful lyrics. Rita Ora has issued an apology after her self-declared bisexual anthem "Girls" sparked backlash within the LGBTQ community for its quote-unquote harmful lyrics. And then they go on to quote somebody that says, "This is not progressive enough. I just think certain quotes weren't progressive. And don't make this personal. I have an incredible song out there with one of the artists and would love to work with the other three as well." So these were harmful lyrics. This doesn't. Every so often there come certain songs with messaging that is just downright tone deaf, which does more harm than good. A song like this just fuels the male gaze while marginalizing the idea of women loving women. It's dangerous because it invalidates the pure feelings of the entire community. It's not progressive enough. In which case Rita Ora responded, "I did not mean to offend anybody. This is actually a personal story of me celebrating something that I believe in." And there's a again, I will not necessarily say Rita Ora is a true, I'm not going to hold her at the top of the revered artist's level, but, when you start saying things like things aren't progressive enough, this is hurting a community.
That was one comment,
Agreed, but now what it's been done, because the internet, this is what the internet does, is that was now tagged in a headline that I have to click because this is, harmful lyrics, what are the harmful lyrics? So let me click this. Wow, and they're quoting these people. Who are these people? Who are these people? Well, it doesn't matter. It's on Twitter. It's public record now. These could be anybody. But again,
part of the internet is not to click on anything.
Right, I know. But these are the rules. See, these are the rules. And I think we're going to wrap this segment with these rules. Dinner table. Don't talk politics and religion.
Look, the bottom line.
Post some cat videos.
The other thing about that is that she's an artist, and they're criticizing her art. So that's still age old.
Yes.
We didn't like your song because it didn't meet with our approval on several levels, and so we're going to call you out about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't
necessarily. But it's how they're calling them out on it, because apparently her art is not progressing their hope for where it's supposed to go.
And they got a lot of soul searching and awakening to do, because the internet hasn't been used against them yet, but the internet is toxic.
Rule number 3: don't press send. When we come back, we got Buddy Scalera talking Deadpool. We are going to talk Deadpool.
Rule 4: don't click on anything.
That was rule 2.
It's like the Fight Club thing. Don't talk about Fight Club.
Right.
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Right. I will figure out this audio issue at some point. This is clearly not working.
Yeah.
Let's try doing an unplugging. Let's see what happens here. Nope. Oh, hey!
Shouldn't be talking about anything.
Oh!
Technically.
Maybe there's a problem with that last USB port.
Could be.
Could be. Is that the only Deadpool image you have?
Yeah, I'm just showing that the entire time. I'm just showing that the entire time.
I like that other one you posted with Cable and
Yeah, I didn't format it though to fit the screen. Domino.
Domino looks hot.
Yeah, she does. Mind you, the mic is on. It's picking everything up.
Good.
Okay.
She's not supposed to be black though, so there's the toxic
She's
internet.
mixed. She's actually half German.
The toxic internet has freaked out about.
You know what's funny? I actually, and maybe this is a double standard, I don't have a problem with like what's the term? Because I can't think right now.
I don't know, blackwashing.
It's not blackwashing. It's like race swapping. I don't have a problem with race swapping.
That sounds even worse.
It does, but that's the official term. No, that is the actual official term.
Yeah.
Thank you, Internet. I don't have a problem with that when it doesn't factor into like anything, right? I mean, like Domino, to me, she was albino. She could be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like to me, I'm like, I don't know the difference with Domino.
Yeah.
So
I kind of had a problem with it only with Gods of Egypt when there was a bunch of Scottish guys playing Egyptian gods. But other than that, yeah, I don't really.
No, but the Scots, they took over.
Yes, the Scots.
Do me a favor when Buddy's on, just play the sound loud so this picks it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, the volume's not going at all with it playing?
It's going, but it's also picking me up.
Okay.
It's also picking up. Maybe I'll figure it. I will. That's what I was supposed to do in Vegas.
I hope so. Going hot.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture. We were talking ComicsGate. We're going to shift to Deadpool because we've got a former Deadpool writer. No, actually, this is, we've been arguing about this for like 4 days.
Yeah.
That I'm just done.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like we have a rule to save it for the show. We broke that rule.
Yes.
And this is the result.
Yeah,
there is
so-
no fire.
Yes,
or
everybody
fury
out
at
there,
this
you
point.
miss out.
I know. Go check us out on Twitter. I want to welcome Buddy Scalera to the show. Mr. Scalera, how are you doing, sir?
Hey guys, how are you?
Very good, very good. I don't know if you caught any of our ComicsGate talk. What's your take on the ComicsGate scandal?
It's best, just like you said, it's best to state no opinion in any direction.
There you go. You actually teach a lot of comic book networking, right? And how to network. And that you actually had a guest at your New York Comic Con panel last year who said exactly that. She got up on stage and was like, "Don't get political if you hope to do any kind of work, unless your work is political."
Yeah, it's funny when you think about people breaking into comics or staying into comics. You guys both worked in comics a good long time. You can talk yourself right out of the business.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of goes for any profession, right?
Alarmingly easy
Yes.
to do that,
Right,
actually.
but I mean, you know what? It's right. It's what's the triangle? Good, fast, cheap. But you can add to the triangle likable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
if you're not easy to work with, they'll find someone who is easy to work with.
Right. There's a glut of talent out there.
Yeah.
Or the industry has the tools of the industry has changed to such an extent that, not to be inflammatory, but a lot of people don't even need an incredible amount of talent to be able to
Sure.
to do commercial work.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
you've seen
with
some
the
of
digital.
Speaking of not needing a lot of talent, let's talk about the work that I've done.
That was both a very good transition and some self-deprecating
Yeah,
humor.
but yeah.
Was that the kind of self-deprecating humor you brought to Deadpool when you were writing the book?
When I was writing Deadpool, I was co-writing it with Jimmy Palmiotti, and it was a true collaboration. But if you really liked something in the book, or you thought something was particularly funny, it was probably me. That's pretty much how it worked out.
Do you? So we've all been we've been in the industry a long time, right? We won't say how long,
By the way, that was a joke. That was a joke, just so.
Yes.
It's already been posted to Twitter.
Speaking of the toxic internet.
It's already notified Jimmy.
Yeah, you already lost.
Let's be clear. Jimmy was my mentor during those Deadpool days. He really taught me how to write comics.
I'm baffled at the popularity of the first Deadpool movie. It was a good movie, don't get me wrong. It was enjoyable. I'm baffled at how much money it made. I'm baffled at how popular the character is. I'm baffled at all of this. How do you feel about the position this character has achieved at this stage of the comic book game?
Mike, I think you bring up a great point. I think that there are people who connect with characters in a really passionate way. And I think that they were true to the character and the way the character should be portrayed. And I think that lends itself to the popularity. When you've seen the cinematic versions go far astray from what perhaps was the original intent of the characters,
Mhm.
where they reinterpret it in some way that's not true to the characters, you see sometimes a lukewarm response. I think the response was because not only did the character resonate, but the filmmaking was wonderful. But Ryan Reynolds has been nurturing this and seeding and marketing this for years. I mean, he never lets that character drop out of our field of attention.
And he was born to play that
He's
character.
been marketing this like crazy for years.
Yeah, he was definitely. He Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds' spirit animal. Like
Exactly.
you know that like that. Like they are one and the same. Like
He's
there
been
is
playing Deadpool since like long before he started playing.
two guys and a girl in a pizza place.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's been.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's been.
His character
Deadpool.
in Blade
Van
was
Wilder.
arguably.
In Van Wilder. Van Wilder is Deadpool in college.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it just it's funny though, and one of the questions that people keep bringing up is there's such a glut of superhero movies, and then you have something like this that's kind of like a refreshing spin on the superhero movie. Do you support that statement? I mean, is there a glut of comic book movies? Is that a good thing that there's all this stuff out there?
Mike, you know what? I'm gonna have to address these haters. I'm tired of hearing the haters complain.
They're gonna weaponize against you. Stop.
For the last superhero movie, that's it. It's over. After this, it's over. People want original ideas. You know what? People can like original ideas with brand new vision, and people can like interpretations of their favorite characters. I think that Marvel, in particular, has done a really good job of bringing their characters to the screen in an entertaining way. And I think the haters are all looking for them to trip up for this, this feeling of schadenfreude, but who really wins? We've got great movies back to back. We've got Wonder Woman and Black Panther. It shows that people enjoy these. They can also enjoy other movies, but they enjoy these movies. I don't know why there's so much hate against these movies and the desire to see them fail. I really don't get that at all.
It's the internet.
When these movies are over, when it's over for comic book movies, it's going to happen abruptly. It's just going to be overnight kind of situation. Everybody right now is just trying to be the first to predict it's going to fall over because they think it's been going on for over a decade. They think it's been going on long enough. But these movies are going to play out until they're over. When the people decide they don't want to see them anymore, they'll be the ones to decide. None of us are going to be able to predict it.
You know what's going to happen? It's going to reach a point.
I think not only do I think you're right, but I see this in media as well, and we all work in media in some format or another. People talk about Web 2.0, and then someone was like Web 3.0, and I was at a conference recently, and somebody said Web 4.0, and I'm like, we haven't even really gotten to 3.0. But everybody wants to be the first. If somebody's like, I just declared Web 4.0, and I'm like, really?
I coined that phrase.
It's monetization, though. I mean, it always comes down, and it's funny because I love the competitiveness of capitalism. I love what capitalism does for ingenuity in terms of like inspiring. I want to be, a self-made man. I want to be proficient in these things. Like all these like that's the good of capitalism, right? It inspires all this stuff, but it also inspires people to make money at whatever cost.
Right.
And that's like a degrading of.
And that's why we live in this kind of atmosphere.
Right, exactly.
What's her name? Does I forget it? Movie Math. She does. I forget her name. This is really bad radio, but she does.
I like it when he points things out like this.
She does a YouTube video called Movie Math, and she talks about movie. The first time I ever heard about the monetization of a negative film was The Last Jedi, and she was saying Disney's got to get in front of this. Because as soon as it becomes monetized to be negative about this film, there's going to be clickbait.
Oh, look at you just coined.
Oh,
we got it.
There's going to be clickbait articles and YouTube videos. And she was right. I mean, people have made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars being negative about The Last Jedi, about the Star Wars movies.
That's what Richard Meyer did. I mean, he basically took a culture of negativity and made $200,000 on a single Indiegogo campaign. By just being negative. I mean, it's genius, evil genius, but it's genius, right? I mean, it's
capitalism.
It's like Karl Rove genius,
But like you're saying, capitalism has its negatives.
Right.
We're all dedicated to making money at all times.
Right. It's also put a premium on being special, and however you can achieve.
Or morals. It's put a pall on being moral. Like you're almost an idiot for being morally.
Do you know what I just
righteous.
realized? We have a guest on the line too.
But he's there.
Oh,
He
just
can
listen,
comment.
I'm watching you guys too on Facebook. I'm like, hey, look, I'm talking.
This is our best and worst interview ever.
Yeah.
Buddy, talk to us about Comic Book School. I love the panels you do. You've invited me to be on some, so I mean, it's full disclosure. But before
Yeah, there you go. That's your
before you
motivation.
even invited me on, I loved all the stuff that you do. Talk about Comic Book School and talk about what your mission is with it.
Thank you. Well, I run Comic Book School, which is at comicbookschool.com, and I do live educational events at Comic-Con. And what I do is focus on the craft and business of comic book storytelling. You could be a pro who is established and want to up your craft. You could be someone who is the next wave of creators, or you could just be a hobbyist. But whatever it is, I'm trying to create a positive, encouraging environment where people can both meet other people who share the same interests, but also learn from working pros. And so I do these panels. I've been doing them for over 10 years at New York Comic Con. We also do a networking event where you've spoken a couple of times, and we talk about people who have achieved something in their career because they were good at keeping in touch with other people, because they were good at networking. And I try to teach that. You've helped me with that a bit. And I think that it's really important to encourage the next generation of comic book creators for purely selfish reasons, because it gives me better comics for me to go out and buy. So that's what I do at Comic Book School.
I love
for a
one
long
of
time.
the.
I've created photo reference books and educational materials and videos and all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, that's more or less what I do.
I love the tweet that you had recently too, and I think you've used it a couple times, but it's such a potent one. It's like every once in a while you got to get up from the keyboard and actually go talk to people and meet people, right?
Yeah, well, you know, Mike, I think the thing is you, me, and Hassan, we all know each other, and part of the reason for that is because, you know, sometimes we get up and we go to a place, put our phones in our pockets, and it's okay to stop checking social media. And I think that it's really important. If you want to be a writer or if you want to be an artist, you have to know people. It's okay to actually talk to somebody on the subway car next to you, or talk to somebody in the elevator, or somebody online. And just interact with people, listen to people and their stories. You have to learn to be a good listener and to be empathetic. And that was a tweet. I tried to tweet out creator tips about once a week, and just observations that I've made, and a lot of them are literally about going out and living life and interacting with life, because that's what we tell stories about.
And you're also still a comic book creator, and you've got a couple books out there right now?
I do, yeah, thank you. That's so I've done a little bit of additional writing for Marvel last year, and I'm hoping to do a little bit more, and a little bit of indie work that's going to be coming out soon. They haven't announced it. And then I have my own independent creations, which, hey, maybe one day there's someone on your line here from Hollywood who's listening. I have two properties, one called Midlife Crisis and the other one called Apocalypse Boulevard, and I hope people go to Comic Book School to check them out. But yeah, you know, Mike, I think one of the most important things that you can learn is you might not be allowed to write Spider-Man, or you might not be allowed to write Superman, but they can't stop you from creating your own characters like the Sire and telling the stories you want to tell. We are now in the age where the barriers are as low as they'll ever be for digital publishing and digital creation. It's a great time for people with ideas to express themselves. Don't sit around waiting for permission to make stories about characters that you love. Create characters that you love and go out and tell those stories.
Heck yeah. Okay, last question. This comes from our producer, Sam. Your predictions for Deadpool 2?
I think it is going to be a funny movie with a gooey center. Silly, but I bet they're going to find a way to tug at the heartstrings. It may never scale the heights of something like Black Panther, which is destined to be the epic highest earner of all time for Marvel solo characters, but I think that it'll do well enough for them to think, yeah, this is a good move, and I think we'll all be pretty happy with the movie as viewers, and I hope it drives people into comic book stores.
As we all do. Buddy, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Comic Book School. My Twitter is at Comic Book School, and if you really want to get a little bit more into just me, I'm at BuddyScalera.com, and I tweet at Buddy Scalera. So I have two handles, two websites.
Very good. Buddy, thank you so much for joining us. When we come back, we go spinning the racks to bring you the most fantastical pop culture news out there.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
You know what's really funny? He really spurred on probably our best conversation of the night.
I feel bad about that. I wasn't trying to.
No, we weren't.
stop him
I know you weren't. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute, we should probably have him talk.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, we actually do. Yeah.
Your conscious consultant. On my show, the conscious consultant hour is opening humanity. We will touch upon all these
Like, we've got a guest.
Enjoying yourself tonight, tomorrow?
Yeah, while they were talking, I was thinking, don't we have somebody on the line that I didn't see?
Everybody.
Maybe I should just
There's someone on the line.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Do you know how long it's been since I've been wanting you to just sacrifice all your
myself?
beliefs just for the
to give
show?
up all my beliefs. Well, I actually don't really have any beliefs, which is why it's been so hard for you to find out what my beliefs are to get me to portray them. I'm kind of a nihilist. I don't really believe in anything except for sandwiches.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We stream live on Facebook, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, Secrets of the Sire, SIRE. You can go to secretsofthesire.com. You go to mikebooks.com. Currently, the Sire is actually involved in a very cool Kickstarter right now. We got the Volume 2 collection. Doing very well. We're day 2, which is good. And we are almost 100% funded, which is pretty cool in 2 days.
And I haven't contributed anything yet.
No,
so
and you don't have to. You
but we're gonna have to. We're gonna look at that.
I want to thank Emporium Pergato. They just donated $1. They just pledged $1.
Nice.
Our very own Adam Weinberg of talkradio.nyc put down $10 for a digital version. Thank you, sir. We got an early bird special going on right now too. So if you pledge the Kickstarter, which you go to mikebooks.com/Kickstarter, you will get all this stuff. You'll get a whole bunch of stuff within 2 days. We're actually giving away the physical copy of the trade paperback and the digital one for the price of one, but that expires tomorrow at noon. Just realized there was a technical difficulty and had to fix it. That was a live brain fart. We love it. All right. We talked about a lot of things. We kind of veered away from Deadpool a little bit tonight because we haven't seen the movie. Next week, we're going to be diving headfirst into the movie, so don't worry.
Yeah, having actually seen it.
Yeah,
in theory.
we can actually talk about it. And it's one of those movies, too, where there's no controversy to it. You know what I mean? We're not... The only controversy is will it live up to the
Yeah, it's like your average sequel.
Right.
Like, will it be as good as?
Will it be as good as, if not better? I mean, and it's also it's a satirical character. There's not really much to do. I mean, originally there was a whole controversy that I brewed myself, that I created. I clickgated myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, coining it, doing it.
Wait a minute, I coined that.
It's already been done. You work for Secrets of the Sire, buddy.
Okay.
See how that works.
All right.
Welcome to the business.
We'll see how that holds up in court, my friend.
Welcome to the business. There was a little bit of controversy, but as to will this movie tank versus succeed because it's so different. But now people are used to different. People are wanting different. There's nothing left.
But I mean, they had a little bit of a template because they put out that trailer.
Yeah.
And that trailer went viral.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it. So I mean, that doesn't always work. That's
No.
not always a good indication.
Snakes on the Plane trailer was a viral success back then too.
It still was a great movie. It didn't do that great, but it was one of the greatest movies ever made. For anybody looking for Deadpool, that's why we only put one Deadpool image up the entire night. And it's just in thumbs up, which is pretty funny. We're gonna go spinning the racks. And it's getting a little sad right here. Margot Kidder, actress who found movie stardom in Superman, passed away. You know, we're losing nostalgia.
We're losing nostalgia, but also like I feel like our top 2 female role models from the 70s and 80s, right? In the comic book universe. Like I loved Margot Kidder's Lois Lane. Like she had a spitfire to her. She had between her and Carrie Fisher. We've kind of lost.
Oh yeah, I was wondering who the
forgot
other
about that
person
one.
was.
Yeah.
No, well, she's not necessarily comic books though.
No, I mean you're right. I mean I guess the superhero movie genre.
Yeah.
The science fiction genre.
Well,
Star Wars
definitely
kind of
the ladies of the day when I was a child are no longer here.
Yeah.
I mean, Lois Lane was Margot Kidder's Lois Lane was gigantic in that franchise.
Yeah.
And of course Carrie Fisher, like you can't even
you
can't even calculate that. So I mean, and Margot Kidder had some problems because she was bipolar, something that we know a lot more about today than we did when she was really suffering from it. So I think she would have had a better shake if she had suffered from it now. She was an actress a younger actress of today who had unfortunately was afflicted.
She'd gain a lot more sympathy.
Yeah, much more, because I mean
people would rally around her.
I remember some of the news articles on her and her antics, and they were like, what the heck is wrong? She's lost her mind. And she was bipolar. Like nobody understood it back then. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of sad. I mean, she became an activist for it. She pulled herself back. It was everywhere. That's another sign of huge success for passed on actors and actresses that you get wind of it and then suddenly they're everywhere. Yeah. That all the media outlets start talking about it and everybody pays their respect. And that's our modern way of grieving, basically, in the toxic country that is the internet.
I think that's kind of what we summed up in this entire episode, right?
The internet is a toxic country.
Yeah, we're really breaking new ground today.
It's the
Honestly, if you could have seen our messenger, I reread our messenger conversation, and I was like, even I don't make sense in this.
No, it didn't make a lot of sense, like you said, because we were
I'm responding to a comment from 3. So I mean, this is just the lesson, people. Just don't go on the internet.
Yeah, and I finally just got
break it down.
I'm like, I gotta go.
Unless it's to listen to our show or talkradio.nyc.
But you don't have to interact with us. You can just listen to us
and praise us.
Well, yes.
Always praise us.
Well, listening is praise.
No negativity. We're gonna live.
Send money.
And send money. Oh, and send money. Yes, and monetize us. Please monetize us. Clicky.
All we gotta do is be negative about something. We'll make a ton of money.
Oh my God.
We missed out on The Last Jedi.
Deadpool
we were
2
negative
sucks.
We were negative about The Last Jedi, but we weren't negative enough. We didn't capitalize.
we didn't go we didn't exceed that level of negativity.
We didn't take it to the next level. We really did. We just kind of like, hey, this movie, we didn't like it.
We got a neg it. We got a neg it.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2, neg it.
Yes. And we got to predict it's going to be terrible before it even comes out. I think this is going to be a horrible movie.
It's a horrible movie.
Because it's full of
the worst
toxic
movie I've ever
masculinity
seen.
and explodies. A lot of explodies.
There's diversity. That guy's silver.
There's no diversity.
That guy's silver.
Exactly. Why? And he's ugly.
Yeah.
He's deformed. I don't like deformed people.
No.
So they shouldn't be in my movies.
It's killing it.
Killing it.
Keep the silver people out of movies.
And deformed people.
Right.
And women
Actually,
with
I'm safer with my silver. You might have offended some deformed people. Deformed people are going to stop listening to our show.
As a deformed person,
you're not.
We could find.
You're not deformed enough to categorize yourself
but I'm
as a deformed
woke,
person.
though. Aren't I woke? I'm woke enough to be deformed. What are we talking about? All right. So anyway,
we're perfecting the art of killing 3 more minutes
of
this
killing
show.
our own careers basically before we even get
we
out
have
of
to
the gate.
have a career before we can do that.
We won't now.
Give me your prediction. Sure to go wrong for Deadpool 2.
Sure to go wrong. Oh man, there's gonna be no seats where I like it in the theater. The popcorn is gonna be stale. It's always stale recently, especially.
How about this? T.J. Miller sexually abuses someone in the movie.
Oh.
That's poor taste, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Is that what you were talking about? Is that
Negative.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was just talking about me and my own personal problems. Yeah, absolutely.
I just cost us our entire show by saying
Yes,
this.
we're doomed.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done. We're gonna rise up, but then we're gonna have a bunch of negative people that are gonna rise up in our defense.
Yes. And then
boycott. And still no viewers.
Yes.
And still no ratings.
We're not gonna go anywhere.
But
the people who rose up in our favor are gonna be exalted to heights. That's what happens.
Do you know who we got on next week?
Who do we got on next week?
We got Mr. Dirk Manning.
That's pretty cool.
We're going with an endless supply of comic book guests because I'm done
getting back to the roots.
I'm done with movie guests. Like I'm done. We're also gonna have
Did our publishing company say I can't send you any more movie people?
Essentially, we don't have any movie people. I am rooting. No, I am returning to the roots. We are gonna bring it to the roots.
Sorry,
all right.
Sorry.
So tune in next week. We've got Dirk Manning. We're gonna review Deadpool 2. Coming up next is The Governor's House. If you're listening on talkradio.nyc. See you next week.
All right, interns.
Quick, you monkeys.